Today we are working with Rachel and we are discussing a few different topics. We are discussing armpits, which I will describe during our time with Rachel. And we are also working with backspace, and we are working with the natural pull down and moving through it. So backspace is kind of what it sounds like. It's noticing what's behind you. So the way that we approach this is by taking a peek around your space, taking in the information, looking, seeing the details, and then facing forward and envisioning it as we are looking forward. So what this does is it alters your sense of distribution, balance, just your general state of being. And because we are such forward-moving creatures, a lot of our intentions are forward and we forget this space. So this is also a very helpful reminder that we have a spine, that we have the back of our neck involved in every situation, that we have our rib cage back there, that we have lungs back there. So much information is there that we often kind of overlook. As far as the classic pull down goes, there is a lot being thrown at us on a daily basis where it can cause us to go into what's called startle, or it can cause us to react in fight, flight, freeze scenarios. So it's kind of your body's experiencing little traumas every single day. And when we talk about the classic pull down, it is when we feel around here, our collarbone and our sternum, there's this sucking in and down situation. And then we kind of get stuck there for a little bit and we're like, and then the reaction is people are like, you're slumping. And you're like, oh, okay, I'm going to not slump anymore. And so I'm going to hold up and still feel this going on. So what we're doing is we're allowing for the pull down to happen, but the difference is we're moving with it and through it. So the concept is coming in to go out. Today we're working with Rachel, and she chose the activity of drawing. Everything that I've just spoken about will be in context of drawing, but can be applied to other situations as well. Hi everyone, welcome to A Taste of Alexander Technique. Today I have Rachel here. Rachel, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Rachel Sigmund. I am so-called legend and host of Fermata Fashion, which is another show on the Strings and Things Network. And Katie happens to be my Alexander teacher. And friend.
Just from like your experience with the Alexander work, what would you, like if you had to give a generalized statement of what it is, what does it mean to you?
So before I started working with you, I had Alexander in a bunch of singing festival programs as sort of like let's find a way to get better aligned posture-wise so we can sing better. And I mean, also we're doing this digitally because of the pandemic, so it might be a little bit different than if I was working with you and you were just like touching my spine and stuff. But the work that we are doing is a lot more about mindfulness and being with yourself and sort of letting the body do what it needs to and setting it up to do what it needs to, and just being mindful in the moment so we don't let, things like anxiety put tension where it doesn't need to be.
What's our activity today, Rachel?
We are drawing, and I'm a person who likes to mix it up, so I took out my black sketchbook. I have lots of gel pens, and yeah, I'm gonna draw. So I draw.
So what do you typically like to draw, and what inspires you to draw?
It helps me visualize things that I need visualizing. If I need to see myself in a particular role, I will draw myself in a particular role. It's a way to get a lot of to figure out a lot of what's in here, down here. And also, it's an art form that I don't do for work, which is nice because I love singing, but I can't have it be 100% therapeutic for me because it is a source of income. So, so when I need to get my creative juices out and I can't do it over there in the studio, I will get them out on the page.
When you're drawing something, what do you notice your tendencies?
Well, of course, I'm going to go towards the paper. In Alexander, the whole thing that we work on a lot is letting there be there and here be here. But we humans are eager beavers. We just like to be towards the task at hand. So a lot of times I'm very towards the task at hand, which causes me to tense up things that I don't need to. And I probably use a little bit more pressure in my wrist and my hand than I probably should. Just, because I like to feel like I'm working, Katie.
Even though it's supposed to be therapeutic and a great time.
Yes, but you know me, I'm an overachiever. I just, even if I'm doing something for therapeutic processes, it's just like, it must be good or...
So what I'm going to have you do is I'm just going to let you do your thing for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So Rachel, as you're starting to get into this, what are you noticing about your breath?
I am not noticing it. That's what I'm noticing.
Well, let's see if you might take a little notice.
It's pretty high breath. I don't know why, because this isn't a high pressure situation. It's just me doodling. It's not even like I have anything I need to be doing.
So I'm going to have you pause for a hot second, because this is a very interesting thing that I'm kind of noticing. I'm noticing that you are very much like going into a quote-unquote posture.
It's because I'm trying not to do this.
I know. And you're just like, I'm holding back and I'm looking straight down at this paper like I'm a professional. No. What would happen if you actually brought the sketchbook to you?
I'm so stiff. Also, probably because I'm being recorded. It must be the Rachel Sigmund experience. Like, you.
Yeah. As you know, like, obviously, I have zero expectations.
I know. There's no expectation. It's all self-imposed.
And I'm going to be a total butt. Let's put the sketchbook down for a hot second. So what I'm going to actually have you do is you're going to cross your arms and put your hands under your armpits with your thumbs, kind of doing a little hook.
It's like the superstar.
So what I'm going to have you do is you're just going to kind of take a little notice there and see if you can allow your shoulders to make contact with your hands. So meaning your armpit. And the cool thing is you're also making contact with your scapula. So we're getting into backspace. Oh my goodness, crazy. Backspace is an interesting concept because everything about us is a forward moving object, person, thing. If you look at yourself, for instance, your eyes, they're that way. Nose, skull, like rib cage, knees, feet. They all face in that direction. You guys can take a peek around behind you and take in little bits and pieces of the room. And the cool thing is, like, in this day and age, We're constantly on video chat, and we can actually see what's behind us right in the screen. So we can use that plus our visual image that's already in our head to think of the space behind us, even when we are forward in that direction. So take your time. You can do all of that stuff and then face forward and see if you can visualize the space behind you. And just notice what your tendency is or what changes.
My body just does what I was trying to do with no effort, which is usually the case. I know people who study singing. It's always about that. We always want to get to a result, and we try to work toward the result, whereas it is better for us to go through the motions that would achieve the result rather than just trying to replicate the result. And that's what we're doing.
And Rachel, what's that called when we try to get to a result without enjoying each moment leading to it?
It's called end gaming.
Oh, Rachel, you're bringing up all the topics today.
Can you tell that I'm an overachiever, everyone?
No, you're just observant.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it comes down to. You take time to listen with whoever you come encounter or who you come in contact with, right? And because you know how important it is to you when people do this thing for you.
Yeah.
And it's a really big deal. So what are you noticing as you're thinking of the back space and playing with your armpits?
I just feel like my neck is lengthening. And before we started talking, I was talking to her that I've been having a lot of neck pain because I've been doing a lot of crafts that require downward attention. So it's nice. So those muscles are releasing, which is lovely.
And it's like you're giving yourself a big hug.
Mm-hmm.
Which is what we all need right now.
It just feels like what I was trying to do without trying to do it.
It's like you're being with yourself. Wow.
We like to feel like we're doing something. And a lot of times, to be more efficient at whatever we're doing, it's just allowing things to happen.
So now that you feel real comfy and with yourself a little bit more, how would you approach putting pen to paper?
Well, when I just picked up a pen, I literally just went for it. So I still need to be with myself while I'm doing this. So, but without.
Let's take a moment and really come back now that you have everything there. And just a little moment. Because now we have the element of said book on your lap.
Now I'm going to think about some backspace by looking at those plates.
And you still have that space under your armpit.
But it's very comforting.
Why do you think?
I know. Armpits are safe and warm and vulnerable. And we're accessing a very vulnerable part of us.
That we hide a lot, don't we?
Yeah. And there's not a lot of fashion that features armpits. You know? Our armpits are very vulnerable in terms of health. Place. Are they a place that we have to protect?
you have easy access under there to a whole bunch of things. And like, I feel like I'm bringing this up in almost every episode. It's a place where you make contact not only with your shoulders, but your rib cage, your heart, your scapula, your clavicle. It's a whole load of information that you just access right under there. And Rachel, what would happen if you actually just let the book be?
Down?
Yeah. And I wonder if you can allow yourself to be with the book versus feeling like you're diving into it. That's different.
Mm-hmm.
What just happened there?
I just kind of let it be over here instead of, oh, I must work this way. I think a lot of it is if you don't have like an overhead view of something, sometimes the proportions get distorted a little bit. So a lot of times I feel like I have to be like directly over it. But I'm sort of, if I'm up and over it.
And then what would happen if would you mind looking up for a hot second? Mm-hmm. What would happen if you let this happen?
Feels very nice.
Because a lot of the times when we think of releasing, we think expansion, right? We think bigger than life, mm-hmm. and letting go, and all the world will see me, blah, 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 blah. Whereas the expansion gives you that comfort of being with yourself, and you can move through it. And then you have the ability to find your own version of expansion.
I feel much more relaxed.
Cool. Now combine that with the backspace thought process.
I think it's nice to do this on Zoom because I can literally see what's behind me.
And what are you experiencing right now?
Well, for a second I was going this way. It was, I was getting caught up in what I was doing, so I'm going to refer again to the plate with the flowers on it behind me.
Cool. And then see if you can play with expansion a little bit. You're going to feel it mostly in the area of your clavicle and your sternum. Mm-hmm. That there's a little bit of a drop.
Yeah.
So it's called the classic pull down, but we can kind of move with it versus getting stuck. Yeah. And what would happen if you let go 2% more? Thinking from the back molars, letting go of your jaw 2%. And then we're going to play with a little bit of nodding your head so that you can feel the dip of the nose even just a little further. Hello. It's okay to move your eyes separately, but you can also still have your head be movable in the process, so you don't feel like you're like looking down your nose all the time. Mm-hmm. And your head and your neck are connected to your torso because guess what? Hey, spine. So if you want to let your torso tip forward as a whole, you can do that too. Oh my goodness, that is so different.
And that brings me towards my paper without making me, I don't know, a massage. Just nice.
Rachel, that is beautiful. How's your wrists doing while you're drawing?
Everything's really relaxed. I'm not like...
Obviously, we're going to get a screenshot of what your picture is, right?
Oh, yeah. It's turned out pretty good, actually. And it's nice because most of the time when I'm drawing, I have something that I want to get down, and so I end game the drawing. But this is just like, I'm doodling, and I should doodle more.
And don't forget, you can move your entire torso to do whatever you wish. Every time I bring that up, it's just like, quick difference. It's amazing. You're amazing. I mean, but
You're
like,
amazing. This is why I work with her.
so Rachel, if you had like, I don't know, the bow situation, word or phrase about what was important today for you, what would it be?
It's about don't get caught up in what you feel like you're supposed to be doing. Going through the process will get you where you need to go more than trying to sort of force yourself where you need to go.
Well, thank you so much for joining
My
me today.
picture?
Yes, I do want to see your picture.
Your picture?
That is so stinking cute. Love it.
This is the therapeutic aspect of it that I lose sometimes. Because there's always something specific I want to do.
Maybe less specific is more fun.
Yep. Always.
Keep it simple, guys. Keep it simple. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate this.
Of course, my pleasure. Thank you for giving me some free Alexander.
Anytime, kid. Anytime.
Of course.